Yes, I think when we last spoke, we were awaiting the forensic autopsy because the original autopsy performed by the county examiner, we just weren't convinced it would be independent, quite frankly, because we weren't getting enough information from law enforcement.
Exactly.
And
so we're going to keep talking about another piece of evidence that surfaced about the Nolan Wells case, especially when it came to this situation with the autopsy, man. And we got Judge Mathis basically breaking down the situation a little bit better than most could. And we're reacting to Poetic Flacco's video. You know, we don't always agree with everything he says, but he might be on to something with this one, man. So let me just let the video rock.
Yeah, let's see what they got going on today with this Nolan Wells story. It's getting crazier and crazier.
Judge Mathis just surgically broke down why you are a dummy if you don't believe that Nolan Wells was murdered in cold blood.
If you don't
After
believe
all
it.
the evidence that have came out, if you still believe that Nolan Wells accidentally drowned, there's something wrong with you. And I don't know what it is. You got to figure it out. He broke down two crucial pieces of information: the bruise that was found on the back of Nolan Wells' head, and then the audio from the boat.
How you feel about this second autopsy that was done on Nolan Wells?
yes, I think when we last spoke, we were awaiting the forensic autopsy because the original autopsy performed by the county examiner, we just weren't convinced it would be independent, quite frankly, because we weren't getting enough information from law enforcement.
Exactly.
And so the forensic autopsy came back, and lo and behold, even though they're trying to downplay it, and
there was some
and
holes
I
in his
understand
story.
Ben Crump and NAACP and others don't want to try and jump to conclusion or step too far out, but
You're trying to be extra sensitive.
forensic autopsy showed that there was what they call discoloration. No, I call them bruises in the back of the head, appearing
There you
that
have it.
someone has had their hand pressed at the back of their head.
Are y'all listening to what he is saying it right now, live on that moment? What he just said. Now, somebody is putting pressure. It's a bruise. You know, they was being very sensitive at that autopsy here, but you hear this judge here, who's pretty fair. A lot of the times, he talks to a very level-headed dude. So he's kind of giving it straight to us right now. I mean, come on, man.
All four of them was very much nicely built football players. Yeah. They all play football, actually.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention.
So, yeah, no, that's scary. And sad as heck. Because I wanted it to be like, you know, accidental drowning or something. I really did. Like, especially when I first heard this story.
At the back of Nolan's head. That's concerning to me.
And what's even more concerning is when the autopsy sent over their notes to the independent autopsy that they took Nolan Wells' body to, they had notes. And from these set of notes, they'll figure out which bruises, which cuts was caused by the original autopsy so they know to ignore it. When they checked their notes, the original autopsy failed to reveal there was a bruise at the back of Nolan Wells' head. The independent autopsy, they found the bruise and they reported it. But here's the thing though. We still don't have Nolan Wells' cause of death yet because for it to be drowning, the lungs got to be waterlogged.
Right.
Well, the original autopsy never sent over the lungs. Well, the original autopsy did theirs first.
Somebody's got some explaining to do.
They said the
So if you did yours first, wouldn't you have the opportunity to run all the tests and do everything you got to do with the lungs before you sent over the body? Well, they never sent the lungs with the body. So the independent autopsy was unable to determine the cause of death. It was inconclusive.
You had different stories coming out from the teenagers. One of the young men himself spoke out about it, claiming they had begged Nolan to get on the boat, and that he wouldn't.
We know the stories, they ain't matching up.
Woman that he's supposed to have stayed back with, I think her name Katie or something. Well, he was supposed to have stayed back with Katie. That was their story. However, Katie's friend says that Katie hasn't She saw him
She-
only in passing on the
And she
island.
texted the
Didn't
boys
stay
that
with
too.
him. And Katie isn't saying anything at all.
Right.
That's an
Now,
element that
that's
I
just
also
the
missed as
friend
well
saying
regarding
that.
the friend. Now, I think the friend he's talking
There's a
about
lot
is
of
Katie's sister.
crazy
The
going on in
older
this
sister
situation.
is kind of downplaying to the extent in which Katie and Nolan Walsh was hanging out. But the Katie portion of this, which we have to cover because the Katie portion like directly debunks the friend's story, right? They
Yes.
claim that Katie
That's a
will
fact.
be their alibi, that Katie saw them leave without Nolan. Katie says, "No, I didn't. The last time I seen Nolan was when y'all was calling him over."
Boom.
And so he dropped the mic.
Right. So we're being put in a position where we got to look at a bruise in the back of his head, and that bruise could be anything, right? That bruise could be something that Nolan Walsh already had. That could have been something where somebody like knocked Nolan Walsh unconscious.
Man, we know he ain't just already had that bruise. He out there having a good old time. That was done that night, bro. Let's come on. Let's be serious. Y'all leave comments on what you think about that. But come on, man. And I know Poetic. He talking a little bit. We're gonna jump forward a little bit here.
And we also need to talk about them being intoxicated. Like they all probably was
That part, yo.
Like,
but it's
come on
gonna come
now.
out. That's gonna also come out. Watch.
Like,
But let's let Judge Mathis finish saying what he was talking about with
I
this.
want to know all the blood results and all that.
And I'm just hoping it's not one of those, quite frankly, and if his friends didn't have anything to do with it and they truly left him behind, etc., etc., he has discoloration, bruises on the back of his neck. Something happened. And quite frankly, this is Mississippi, where in 1955, which sparked the civil rights movement,
There you go.
Emmett Till was killed for so-called whistling at a white woman. And now we're hearing Nolan Wells stayed back to be with a white woman. And he turns up dead with bruises behind his neck. That's the context I'm putting this in. It's Emmett Till, perhaps, all over.
Wow. So you feel like the
That's deep.
dynamics between Nolan Wells and Emmett Till is similar?
Well, the dynamics are the same. He's with a white woman.
The plot is the
allegedly
same. Yeah.
said something with, or however you view it, with a white woman, and there's a suspicion that white men killed him, and that was the case
Right.
with
Yeah.
Emmett Till. He so-called whistled as a kid. 13 was he? Whistled so-called the woman at the store. White woman says he whistled at her.
So-called
What
did
happened?
not really
white
happen.
men killed
Right.
him. And that's why I'm making that analogy. But it could altogether be untrue. But I'm making the analogy as a possibility. And that is the case
It's a cover-up.
of my thought processes.
So it was actually bruises behind his neck.
Yes. Yeah, I
There you
mean,
go.
what else? Why is it only there in the back
There you
of
go.
your
Right,
neck?
nowhere
Which
else
is
on the body.
coincidentally
Right.
how you drown somebody. You put the
Listen,
head in the back of the neck and
attention.
not let them up, and they try and push up, but you got the head down, so the head bruises in the back of the neck because somebody tried to hold it down or did hold it down.
And that's wild. And that alone you can create 1,000 scenarios to speculate on in your head how this could have possibly happened when you really listen to that and think about it. You know what I mean?
Listen to that in the audio. Let's put two and two together.
Oh, we didn't get to the audio yet, but I think it's more on audio coming up.
It's sad.
This is
Again, this is why you need a judge. Yo, bro, I'm so like barbaric. I'm going for the knock him out with a club, throw him in the water. But no, the judge is saying, no, you would have bruises in the back of your neck because somebody had their hand on your neck and they pushed you in the water until you drowned.
Help us. Yeah, now you got us thinking like, it could have been all kinds of stuff going on. I don't know what the situation was, but we know there's a situation.
And here's the thing. They will say, what's the proof of this? What's the proof? Y'all just said it without proof. Okay, what is your explanation for everything then? Right? Since us who were not there, we're asked to provide undoubtable proof, even though all we literally have is theories because we were not present, Right. So now let me ask you guys. Okay, can you guys explain the bruises in the back of his neck?
Of course not.
All right, cool.
Of course they can. Of course they can. There's no way they're going to be explaining that. But somebody's going to have to explain something because if I'm not mistaken, they came up people getting subpoenas and whatnot and whatever else.
What's been going around in the blogs right now.
Yeah, just
that
going.
The family and the kids are definitely.
It's going to blow over, and it's going. We got to keep pushing this. Share the video. Let's get this message out there that it's not. They're going to get their justice, man.
Yeah, that we are not stopping until we get justice. Basically, they want us to be quiet.
And we're going to keep. We've been covering this one from the beginning. We're going to keep covering it. Had to fast forward through Poetics talking. He go on and on a little bit of time. We'll get back to Judge Mathis part so we can get to the audio files for you guys. Let go.
Also touched on the audio that got released. And here's what he has to say about the audio.
I did not know that existed. And if this is authentic radio transmission between the dispatcher and the caller, then certainly this turns it on its head.
What?
They're observing him injured.
Right.
Asking if he's dead. Whoever on that
they
call.
told his body.
He was still
With the technology
alive.
we have now, and with interviews amongst the folks who were there.
Right.
Or the phone that
he was on that boat.
That the emergency call came from. The dispatcher has that number. Someone can get it. Then you'll go to the person who made the call and say, what did you see? This is real easy.
So why did it happen that way?
Case. So we'll see what they do with this evidence. The fact that there's some audio from the dispatcher where the person calling asks, or in the background, one or the other, asks, oh my God, is he dead?
Amen. There you go.
Yeah, you could hear it.
Clear as day.
So that's a whole new level of evidence that I'm interested in seeing where they go with that.
But I know for
and perhaps
a fact it's going down because I still want to know what them two girls. I haven't heard from the two girls that was on that boat.
And if you seen our video earlier, then we played and talked about the person who actually came up with the engineer that actually released this audio, and she cleared it up and she didn't use no AI. So if you haven't, go check that other video out that we got. But that's what they're essentially talking about, just to give you a little backstory. And this is really crazy, there's a whole audio. You can hear what's going on in the background. You can hear the things they're saying. And it's disturbing, and we're about to get to it again. We're gonna play the audio again. Okay. It's coming up, but this is leave your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what's going on in your heads about this situation, because we are not stopping. We're gonna keep covering this one until we get to the conclusion of what the situation really was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Because we keep hearing different stories.
Too many different stories.
Especially about them cleaning the boat. Like I'm stuck on them clearing the evidence. People said they saw them cleaning out the boat. I want to get all the evidence.
That's right. Yeah. Let's get to the bottom of this. We gotta get to the bottom of this because too much is happening, and we can't. If we let this one go, it's only going to get worse for the people, and y'all know who I'm talking about. So come on, man. Y'all need to share this video. Let's push this message out there for real.
But the prosecutor may have all of this information and say we're not sharing it because we don't want to bias, we don't want to create bias, and etc. in the case because in the media have it, and she may have that. She may have that and take it right to the grand jury. That's what I'm hoping.
And I don't mean it. I'm gonna stop pausing. But this our podcast, man. Y'all came here to watch us. It's Q&S. Yo, stick around, be part of the community. But one other thing, what he just said, he's definitely giving us good information. And what he's saying, like as a prosecutor, he knows the system, and they probably sitting on it for whatever reason to get it passed to the grand jury and have it officially done. And he's hoping that's what they're doing. But he just is. Of course, we don't really know. So, but that was just to go with what he was saying. I kind of dig that. Okay.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
If they don't disclose it to the widespread media this week.
Here's why I don't believe that. Now, it's one thing if you say, hey, we're not going to share the thorough investigation we're doing that's going to bring answers to Nolan Wells' death, we're not going to share that with the public, but you're not going to share that with Nolan's mama?
That's what I've been thinking.
You're not going to share that with... I don't care if they have
Made a good
hired
point with
like
that
Benjamin
one.
Crumb. I don't care if they have hired other people to get involved. You should walk the mama through it step by step. Hey, mama, we got this intel, this intel. It's not until the audio got leaked and people began to put pressure on Ocean Springs that they like released a tip to TMZ like, hey, we have evidence that people seen Nolan on the island in the afternoon after 5, or I think like 6 p.m. they said.
That's what I was talking about.
Like TMZ like reported, yo, there's evidence Nolan was on the island at 6. And then you scroll down to the bottom of the article and the evidence is, oh yeah, there's like 2 people said they see Nolan. Okay, well, we have Nolan friends who are doing interviews on TikTok, right, saying how they believe these people are guilty and they believe people was washing blood off the boat or out the boat, according to the friend, or she implied that, I should say, because she says they was washing out the boat, right? One of the friends says they seen some of the boys and at a breakfast, and the boys told her, well, why would we be looking for him? Y'all already, expect us to killing him. That's before Nolan Wells' body was found. That's before the world knew he was dead, right? So if we can take the word of 2 people who quote unquote seen Nolan, even though again 2,000 people was on the island, y'all said 2 people quote unquote seen Nolan at around 6 p.m. Okay, then how did Nolan Wells disappear? Then how did he die?
Yeah, let me stop the video right there because he's just going on and rambling about the rest of the situation. But what he's saying is absolutely right in the moment. For in this case, it's ridiculous that we even going through this, and they tried us, bro. They really tried us, and we gonna stay on it because it doesn't make any sense, and then we're not gonna let these boys get away with that. We pretty much know what happened. We just don't know exactly how they did it.
It's a cover up.
Definitely, it's a big cover up.
What it is.
It's a big cover up, and now that we know that it's a cover up, we need to get this out of there and let everybody else know.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely want to give my condolences to the parents because I cannot fathom the pain that they're feeling, dealing with. They just buried their son, and they're just all over the media. It's just sad. So comment down below and tell us what y'all think, and we'll keep y'all updated. Thank you for watching Queen and Slim.
Ooh wee.
Fire!